Welcome back, David Heurtel, in for Elias. Well, Sunwing is launching a court battle to overturn an order to compensate a couple $800 for a flight delay. The case centers on the debate over when airlines can deny passengers compensation if flights are disrupted for safety reasons. But the story is leading to many questions, and we hope we can get some answers from our next guest. Kristine D'Arbelles is a Senior Director of Public Affairs for CAA National. Kristine, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thanks for having me here.
So, first of all, when we see CAA National, I usually think of cars, but CAA gets involved also in anything that involves air travel too, right?
We do, for a few reasons. We actually run one of the country's largest leisure travel agencies, so you can book travel through CAA. Mm-hmm. And we also represent 7 million members across the country. So that's about 1 in 4 Canadians, and we like to represent them on matters that are important to them. And one of them is travel rights. Mm-hmm. And CAA fought for travel rights many, many years ago. And we got this air passenger protection regime that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. And as you can see, there are some pros and cons to the regime.
Right. So this story really stands out. I mean, in 2020, a couple gets delayed and they go to the CTA and they file a claim for $800, following the rules, their rights, what the rules provide for. They get $800 from the CTA, and now you have a big company like Sunwing going all the way to the Federal Court of Appeals to actually get the right to contest this before the court. So not only now we're in 2024, and this couple is still waiting for their $800, but there's going to be yet another battle before the courts on the actual issue if Sunwing has to give that compensation to this poor couple. So what do you think about this situation? What does it say about our system?
What it says about our system is we've got some gray areas that's causing these problems. It's causing backlogs in CTA complaints because passengers will believe one thing based on how they've interpreted the rules and the laws that protect them, and the airline will deny them, and then they have to go to the CTA. The CTA has thousands and thousands and thousands of complaints backlog. So it's taking a year to 2 years just to have the CTA look at your claim. So there's that, which is unfortunate and not really a system that is, there for Canadians. The other thing is it's sort of surfacing this gray area that CAA has been trying to fight against for a while now. We were told that some of the changes would come in the winter to fix this gray area. Then it was the spring, and here we are talking about it in July. So we're getting a little bit worried, and that the changes are taking so long. And listen, I, like anyone, don't want to get on a flight or a plane that is deemed unsafe. And this is sort of this gray area, right, where an airline can say it's unsafe. Listen, if it is really unsafe, don't put me on that plane. I don't want to be on an unsafe plane. However, we are finding that airlines are using sort of this gray zone to maybe put some stuff in that bucket that shouldn't be in that bucket and are probably stretching the definition of safety maybe beyond where they should be stretching it. And we think that just, we don't need that gray area. We need to get rid of the gray area. And what we need is a clear list of here's when you're owed compensation and here's when you're not owed compensation. There's systems in the UK that are like that, where essentially everyone gets compensation except for this very, very clear list. And if the flight delay or cancellation falls within that very clear set list, then the passenger doesn't get compensation. And again, that list is fair. If it's a massive, hurricane or snowstorm, got it. It's outside of the airline's control. If it's something like labor strikes, which unfortunately we were seeing this week with WestJet, outside of, airline's control, got it. If it's really safety issue, there's gas leaking from the plane, well, then that's outside of their control, got it. But, it should be a very, very clear list so that both the passenger and the airline are clear about about the rules and about air passenger protection. And right now, it's just not clear.
It seems that we've been talking about this literally for years now. And you said, changes are coming. We've seen federal transport ministers come and go, say, yes, you're right. Yes, we need to do better, blah, blah, blah. Nothing ever happens. So, I mean, again, from the outside, without facts, but I get the sense, and I'm not the only one, that there seems almost to be a willing inaction in place here. There's either it's lobbying from the industry, but I mean, as you said, there are other jurisdictions that have been able to clarify these gray areas. Why aren't we moving? Like you said in at the beginning of our conversation, I mean, you're a big player in everything that involves travel and movement of Canadians. You have 7 million members. You're not the only ones talking to the federal government about this. Why isn't there any movement?
There's a very big airline lobby, that's going to want to water down the laws as much as possible, or the rules as much as possible. So that's why CAA is at that table to represent the voice of the traveler, to make sure that if there are changes, it is done in a way that's fair for the industry. We get it. We don't want the industry to go bust. But we do believe that there should be a system that protects travelers. And just right now, it's just we have a system, and in some cases, it is protecting travelers. And we're really happy that the government did move forward and launch these passenger Bill of Rights. A couple of years ago, they launched it right before COVID. Right. They announced it in December 2019, I think it was, and then a couple months later, the world shut down. So it was unfortunate timing. And it's taken a little bit of time for the airline industry to come back after COVID, so we get it. But, we're in a place now where this gray area can be clarified. And we want the government to be moving as fast as they can on this.
Are you getting any signal that they will before the next federal election? I mean, there's a year before the election at the worst, at the least. So do you think they'll be moving before then?
We really, really hope so. We really hope so. Yeah.
That's not hopeful. When I hear that, it means you're not getting any clear signals right now from the feds.
Currently, no, not right now.
Yeah.
No, we're still waiting, but we're knocking on the doors and making sure that we're representing the travelers, and hopefully we see these changes as soon as possible.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Kristine. Really appreciate it.
Hey, it's my pleasure.
Kristine D'Arbelles, Senior Director of Public Affairs for CAA National.